So James Macharia is also another accomplished professional in the hospitality industry. He started out as a front desk agent and rose to senior management and has worked in front office, reservation, sales, and marketing. As he's coming in, probably he will say more about himself as he does his presentation. James, welcome.
Hello, everyone. It's a privilege to be part of the webinar that we decided that it is important that we share with other industry players. As Brian has said, I've also been in the industry for 9 years, I would say, and it is fortunate that I've grown up the ranks from front desk to reservations to revenue to sales and marketing to working for an OTA and back to the hotels. Currently, I'm in charge of sales at Crown Plaza Upper Hill. That is where we are at. That is a brief on my side. And Brian, if you could proceed to the next slide. So on my side, I'll be handling the sales strategy and the marketing strategy. And as Felix mentioned, sales is a revenue generating department, whereas marketing is encountered with expenses. And if you do not create a balance between how you're spending and track on ROI, then you might end up operating at a loss. Let me begin with a sales strategy. And the first thing that we're going to look at is where do we expect these sales to come from? And we do have direct sales in other market segmentations known as a transient market. We also have website and walk-ins. This is the time for hotels to optimize on direct sales because the cost of guest conversion with direct sales is very minimal compared to other channels. This is because when a guest books directly with you, you will not end up spending on commission or any other expenses attached to converting the guest. And that is the reason why this is a time for hotels to push for direct traffic. It is not dismissing the fact that other channels are important, but these should be carried as a priority for a hotel because in the process of converting the client, you also want to minimize on how much you're spending to drive the conversion. The second point I have is on online distribution, which Martin will talk about extensively. On online distribution, we have the channels that we work with, OTAs, amongst other forms of conversion, such as travel agents and so forth. These are also very critical in driving conversion. And the most important thing or the biggest challenge that hotels have been facing is maintaining parity. Because when you don't have parity on all these channels, then you will find that other channels are performing better than others. So the most critical thing in this case is just ensuring that parity is maintained on all the channels. Then the other thing that you need to look at as a hotelier is, are your sales guys making sales calls? And how often are they doing the sales calls? Right now, the local market is the priority. And it is the mandate of every single hotel to put a push to the sales team on seeing which companies will continue booking, which companies still have money to spend. Because at this point, the companies that personally I have been talking to, most of them don't have any money because it's like we've been in a recession, and during a recession, companies lose a lot of money. They're not making money. So it's up to the sales team to conduct all these. So if there's something I can re-emphasize and emphasize is hotels need to take care of the sales team because the sales teams are the engines of the hotel. Then the other thing you need to look at as a hotelier is not all business is worth it, and that is where we look at ROI. Once we bounce back, I'm pretty sure most hotels will have a tactic of, let's say, trying to dilute the prices. Why would you do that? And a client has not told you he or she is capable of spending. This is the point whereby when you send your sales team out, they should be well versed with a value proposition instead of being quick to renegotiate on the prices. What are you offering extra that your competitor is not offering that makes you stand out, or that makes somebody see it worth to spend $200, $100, and so forth? So at the end of the day, revenue, skills, and sales are aligned, because what you're selling, you have to check what inventory you have before you sell what you're selling, and also you have to check what do you have as a property that other properties don't have. Then we do have GDS, which I will not dwell on that much, because as we all know, the global distribution system, the famous ones, Amadeus, Sabre, Travelport, and so forth, rely on international travel. And as at the moment, no one is traveling, and it might take a long time to pick up. So for GDSs, if you would ask me if there's anything special running, then I would put a pause on it, because the people who you are targeting, the demand is not there. So this is the time, let's say if you have a media campaign going on, you can put a pause on it. And even TravelClick reach out to you sometimes, and they will tell you, this one for sure, for this period, you can put a pause on it. Then once things resume, you can reactivate it. Then we can go back now to another form of boosting on sales, which is reducing the response time for emails and calls. One thing that most salespeople need to know: the faster you respond to a client, the higher the chances of making it or turning it into revenue. Value proposition, I discussed about it. Then we come to dynamic pricing. This is a debate that has been there year in, year out, and it's a culture we are deviating from, because pricing should be based on the demand. We should deviate from this is high season, I have high season rates, or I have resident rates and non-resident rates. People are challenging that nowadays, because if I'm a single booker and I'm a local, and we have a foreigner who's also a single booker, does it mean that they will use more amenities in the room than the local one? No, the answer is no. So it is high time that people look into dynamic pricing, so that they are able to optimize on all the channels that bring revenue. So when you combine all these things, then you end up having a complete cycle of increasing sales and improving sales within the property. Then something that I missed is a digital and e-commerce manager. This is a role that we have seen evolve over time. Not many hotels used to have a digital and e-commerce manager, but with the growth of social media and different forms of driving conversion, it is very critical to have somebody who's always looking at what is being posted on the platforms and who is able to take charge of that. Brian, on to the next slide. So that is all. That is a wrap up on the sales strategy. Coming to the marketing strategy, the first thing we look at is the marketing calendar. Right now, we would say, just as Musa said, we are starting on a zero slate, is the same thing. Whatever plans you had on your marketing calendar need to change, and it's all aligned with what has happened because of COVID. Now you need to come up with a new strategy of setting up a marketing calendar. How do you want to push it? And as I've mentioned on previously, is a digital manager who's in charge of pushing any digital content that you have is the key to ensuring that this is done. What are the ways that you can be able to enhance marketing for your property? We do have bulk mails, which is not an expensive thing to do, because we have companies like MailChimp who will help you do that. All you need is a database of all your clients, and whatever message you want to push, we are running this local promo. That is what you use. Then we also have paid Google ads, pay-per-click, and also media banner ads through Google. And these are some of the marketing strategies where hotels are able to track return on investment. Then we do have radio ads. Many radio companies are able to offer barter trade, where if you're running a promo, then you're able to advertise it on their platform. And for them, if they need, let's say, accommodation for somebody they are hosting, then you can collaborate and work together. It's up to now the different stakeholders to have a sitting, discuss on what works for each of them to be able to know whether it is worth it. It has not been very popular, but it will have to come back as people will have to apply different marketing strategies to be able to win the market. On the digital part, this is attached to the digital manager who's in charge of handling anything that is happening on any social media platforms. Then we do have hotel branding. How is your website? How are you doing search engine marketing, search engine optimization? Do you have a professional who's able to track the statistics of who is visiting your website, and is the person visiting your website driving conversion? So all these are questions that you should ask when you're talking about hotel branding. Then this is also the time to utilize our frenemies, that is the OTAs. As much as we will pay commissions to them and sometimes not feel like we're not getting value from whatever we are getting, it is a high time we make them our friends, because at the end of the day, you want to increase your visibility. You want to be visible to any potential client who is looking to book your property. There's a lot marketing, but this is what I found relevant and critical at during this time. And that being said, my presentation comes to an end. If we do have any questions, then they can easily be posted on the chat.